Welcome to another episode of The Clear Table, where we love to talk about the ship. Friendship, kinship, relationship, fellowship. Today, we will be dealing with kinship. Family is important, but yet, is blood really thicker than water?
Not all the time. Today we have with us Dana Reese.
So I had my oldest daughter, when I was 19.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I've always felt guilty about to this day is that before my husband, I did not make the best selections when it came to dating. You know, I was young, right? I was 19 years old. So it's like I was growing up with her.
Yes.
You know, so when me and my husband met, I had a lot of guards up because of the relationships that me and my daughter, you know, because when I was dating, I would introduce her to the men that I was dating and they were unhealthy for the both of us. So by the time we met, him being the genuinely awesome person that he is, it was hard for me to accept that as, oh, this is just as representative that I'm meeting, you know.
Let us dive.
Okay.
You had a baby at 19. So take us back to your wonder years, your teenage years. How was your growing up in your house? What did your house look like? What was the makeup?
You know, so I grew up in a two-parent household. All right. I have a brother that's 2 years younger than me. And me and my brother are very close. Me and my mom are very close now. I have not spoken to my father since 2005. We do not have a relationship at all. I don't desire a relationship with him. I'm pretty sure he probably doesn't desire one with me. But I'm okay.
Mentally, physically, emotionally. And so that's what it's about. So again, we thank you for sharing. But you also said something about now me and my mother has a good relationship. Where was your mother at 11, or what happened where it wasn't good for you and your mother?
Well, they were married the whole time. They divorced when I was 20. And when I got to the point where I realized, this isn't normal, right? I shouldn't be happy that he isn't whooping my butt. Instead, he's not talking to me for 8-9 months. When I realized that, that's not normal, then I turned to her, why are you letting this happen? You know, he was constantly physically and emotionally abusive to my mom.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And verbally. He was a blatant cheater. As far as my mom, though, I was angry with her for a very long time because I did not understand why she stayed.
So it sounds like there was some resentment there.
For sure.
For your mother, feeling like, why aren't you maybe strong enough to leave this situation? Why are you allowing your children to witness this and experience this? But then, like you said, you guys were close up into a certain point. And you mentioned before that you came to a realization that the things that were happening in your house was not normal.
Right.
Because when you're in it and that's all you know, it's your norm. But what opened your eyes? What made you realize this is not the norm? Because it sounds like that was then too probably a catalyst for the resentment with your mom.
What types of things would you look for in a man? Or maybe I shouldn't say in a man, in a healthy relationship.
In a healthy relationship, their relationship with their parents is very important.
How does that look for you?
How does that look? Just communicating regularly with their parents, showing up, being present, the family dynamic as far as around holidays and them being welcoming to me and my children.
So you would like to see that? That's something
I would like to see that. Yes,
now,
that's important to me.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate, right?
Okay.
Because you can't give a person that.
You're right.
So if you're looking for this, and maybe they're looking for that too, maybe that's what is it called? Where you I don't see no healthy relationship. I don't see anything with their parents or their family, so I'm out.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it's because I know me having the relationship that I had with my dad and that unhealthy dynamic, I know the baggage that I got from that. And this is something else that we can talk about. I had a horrible temper. Anger, like I went to therapy for it to beat it. Like it was horrible. And in some situations, like I totally sabotaged the relationship because of my anger, you know, to be so angry at everything, I would snap. You know, I could easily go 0 to 100. That's what they say, 0 to 100 real quick. I used to go 0 to 100 real quick. And it's still something I feel like I have a grasp on it now. But it took a lot of therapy and self-reflection and healing from that. You know, anger was a big thing for me.
Wow. And you talked earlier, you mentioned that you're very close with your younger brother, but you also just mentioned his passiveness would make you angry.
Yes.
And so what is your brother's relationship like with your father today?
My brother has a great relationship with my dad. So my brother, he has a daughter. She's 1. The relationship between his daughter and my dad, like my dad loves to be around, from what I've heard, you know, loves to be around his granddaughter. That's the only granddaughter that he claims. Like he's told my brother and he's told my brother's wife, like, this is the granddaughter that matters. You know, he still takes subliminal shots. So their relationship is fine. I don't understand it, but it is.
Are you angry about that because you have a daughter? Well, he has more grandkids. Are you currently angry about that? Or how are you dealing with that, knowing that your children do not have a say-so? Or they don't matter?
It pisses me off. Because some way it's like, okay, so why? And it's not that I want this relationship with it's so strange because it's not like I want this relationship with my dad, but it's like, why aren't my kids good enough for you to accept them? Like, because my kids have done nothing to you, you know? So whatever differences that me and you have, like, why are you not willing to put that aside to have a relationship with your grandkids? Like, why are you that angry with me? And to this day, I can't really say that I know why he's angry. I don't know why he's mad at me. I don't know why we're not. I don't know why we're not talking. I forgot.
Would you, with all that has happened, would you even want your children to be around him, but you want them to be acknowledged? I
want them to be acknowledged. It's strange because, like...
But it's true. I mean, that's
real.
I mean,
is it real, right?
I don't want you to feel like you're feeling some kind of contradictive ways. Because it makes sense.
Real. Thank you for saying it.
That's real.
It's real.
You don't want ever for your children to happen what happened to you, especially from this person. But at the same time, these are my children, which makes them your grandchildren.
Right.
You need to know them, or at least know that they matter, as the word you use.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're going to protect your children. But love conquers. And so you will never get those years back. We will never be you will never forget what happened. But even you owe your children that type of relationship where they can communicate in some kind of way to know without having a block up of anger.
Between them and my dad.
And you mediating it because you're the block, because you already know you want to shut it down.
So this is how I feel about that, right? I don't trust it. When I say I don't trust it, I don't trust you being in the same space as my children. I don't, because I don't know what you would do. I don't know how you will react when you're angry. I don't know who he is.
Right, because you don't know him. You guys haven't spoken.
Right. And you should be on guard. But let's look at some things. Your brother allows his daughter, your brother has a daughter, and they have a decent relationship. And your father worships her. So he does have some good qualities there, because we got to look at some good somewhere. When we see all negative, we got to find some good somewhere. So you're happy. I'm asking, how do you feel? Take out what your kids are getting, take out what happened to you. How do you feel that there's another little girl having a relationship with the father and it's healthy? How does that make you feel?
I don't like it.
But
it sounds bad.
I get
but it's real. No,
it's okay. It's true.
But it's real.
I'm trying to turn it around, because shouldn't it be good. Just look at just one little tiny bit of good. That little girl is not dealing with what you're dealing with. I mean, can you at least see that?
I could see that. I could see that. I just, so the last time I seen my dad was 2007, the wedding. So I talked to my daughter before going to the wedding. I was like, you're going to meet you're going to see my dad. I did tell her not to say anything to him though. I told her because I already know my dad. So, his sister tried to introduce my daughter to her grandfather, and he told her in her face he didn't want anything to do with her.
In your daughter's presence?
In her face, in her presence. So I was not aware of what happened at the time until we sat at the table and my daughter was crying. And so then I asked her and she told me, and I
the anger.
And I was literally pacing like, this is your brother's wedding. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You know? And so, ultimately my father left the wedding because he already knew, so he ended up leaving. Yeah. So, and I was always one thing I used to always be afraid of is, am I going to turn out like my dad? So how my dad treated me, like, because I at that time couldn't control my anger, I felt like, am I going to be like this with my kids?
How was that for you?
It made me question myself a lot, like as a mom and even in different areas of my life, like as a professional, like, why do I feel so unstable, and when you feeling unstable, that breeds the insecurities. And now I'm insecure, not even just as a mom, but in my professional realm, because it's like,
because you wasn't safe.
Because I wasn't safe. Right.
You haven't been safe. You've never really been safe. But now it sounds like today you're safe. Yes. Sounds like the man in your life, your husband, you're safe with. But to get there, something we talk about a lot is it had to be trust, truth, and transparency. And how does your husband, understand you? Knowing now all of the truth about you. He accepts it because I seek therapy when I saw it seeping into my relationship, and because he sees that I make conscious attempts to it's successful, but I've actively done a work that it takes to be the healthiest version of me. He accepts it. We don't argue, we don't fight. And I've learned to, when I feel myself getting angry, I've learned to kind of calm that inside of me.
You said something really powerful, because we talk about this a lot. You just said, we don't argue, we don't fight. And that is big, because a lot of people feel that you must. Hiram and I talk about this all the time, because we tell people we've never had an argument. Does not mean that we always agree, because we do not. But we've never had an argument. Yeah. And when we say that, a lot of people feel like that's impossible. Right. Like you shouldn't fight in a marriage, but everyone argues. And that is what people really believe. And to each his own, but it is possible that you can be in a marriage, be in a relationship, and not argue, not fight those things. And so when you said that, that really stuck out to me. And it's really powerful for you, because you came from the total opposite of that. So to now be on this healthy side is amazing. So
can you tell girls or children like you, what they should be doing to overcome any kind of situation like this?
Don't blame yourself, and that you are enough. And that you do not have to be a victim to your circumstance. You don't have to be. And like you said, some things may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility to get over it. Yes. One thing that I've always felt, and I don't know if this is true or not, I don't even know if this is the healthiest thing to feel. You let me know. But I feel like at some point, like you have to grow over the excuse of, I have daddy issues. You have to.
It's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to do the work. To get over it.
You're still doing it. I mean, it's every day, because that anger has been built in. Again, thank you for joining us at the Clear Table. Family and friends, we thank you for another episode of the Clear Table, where we talked about kinship, we hope and pray that you've learned something today that will help you go on and deal with your personal self. Even though today we talked about a father, a husband, children, brothers, the truth is it's about self-care and about self-love. Go love yourself, and if you don't know how, learn.
This is the place to be transparent,
To be honest and real,
to find holy,
and to discover
the truth.
you have to know thyself.
Yes.
I'm really thrilled to be here today to talk to everyone.
I long for love. And we need to really be honest with that perspective.
Welcome
Welcome
to the Clear Table.